Hey, what's up, YouTube? This is Tony Harvin, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Do remember, if you'd like to subscribe to this channel, hit that subscribe button and also hit the notification bell right here and select all to receive all notifications upon the videos that come out on this channel. Also, my backup channel is Tony Harvin Network if you'd like to do the same. Hey, what's up, YouTube? This is Tony Harvin, and welcome to my YouTube channel. We're here to talk about a news story that went down today. But first and foremost, y'all know my disclaimer. I'm not a pastor, preacher. I don't hold any type of office in the church. So please do not lay claims of those titles on me. You understand that? We're not here to violate any type of community guidelines, any type of copyright infringement at all. You know what I mean? Shout out to everybody, who's going to check this live out, those who are going to check this video out later on for sure. You know what I mean? So I want to talk about this story that appeared, in the media today over here in North Carolina, for sure. The title is "Pastor Charge." They charged the pastor of the shooting. Well, they said accidental shooting of his 2-year-old son. And that 2-year-old was shot in the head by another family member. And we will go into details on why that pastor was charged, who is named Adam Vine. Vine, and just going to put his name in the title and whatnot, or whatever the case may be. That he was charged with the shooting of his 2-year-old son. For sure, we're gonna go to the news story in a bit. Shout out to everybody in the chat room for sure. Hope everybody's doing well this afternoon, evening. You know what I mean? Those, who don't know, we got a biblical debate at 7:30 later on. So I hope everybody, who's on here, check it out for sure. In general, shout out to Nicole Martin. You said, this is awesome. You are, you said you are spoiling us with another live. A little something. You know what I mean? A little something. I just wanted to bring this story. I was going to do it in a video format, but I didn't feel like going through all that editing and all that other stuff and recording and takes and whatnot. I didn't feel like doing that, so I just decided just to have a live about it and talk about it in general. Joel says, "Hello, what up, what up, what up?" Yeah, a 2-year-old. We're going to share the story, from this media outlet of this situation for sure. So we're gonna get to it right quick and whatnot. All right, let me know if y'all can see it. Let me see if we got it up on the screen. I think I'm gonna share this tab right here. What's up to Sister Davis? Shout out to you. Shout out to you. Hope all is well. You say you're still at work, getting off in about 15 minutes. That's wonderful, for sure. So it says, pastor charged an accidental shooting of a 2-year-old son outside of Berkeley County. Now, Berkeley County is in North Carolina. You say he's been charged with the connection of accidental shooting, outside of the church. He was charged recently for misdemeanor weapons offense. Misdemeanor weapons offense. In general, it says in October, his 2-year-old son was shot inside his vehicle by an older sibling after church services at River Valley Baptist Church. Now, other media outlets, they had it listed where as though it was the brother. It was the brother who shot the 2-year-old in the head, and the 2-year-old is definitely is recovering right now. In general, furthermore to the story, forgive me for that. It says deputy said that the child was airlifted to the hospital after the shooting. He is currently still, undergoing therapy at Levine Children's Hospital. Now, it says court documents regarding the incident stated that the father, Adam Vine, should have known that his son would be able to gain access to the firearm. Now, in this this news article right here, it mentions that the father should have known that his son will be able to gain access. Now, if you don't go into other uh, websites or other news stories to understand what that means, it's not talking about the 2-year-old child. It's talking about the brother who had access, who gained access to the pastor's, what they call him, firearm. And I guess he took the firearm, and you know how children are. They tend to play with firearms. You know what I mean? Especially a loaded one at that, at the end of the day, and shot the 2-year-old in the head. You know what I mean? Just imagine that. A child getting shot in the head. You know what I mean? Close range at that. You know what I mean? And survived. All right. Um, Let me see. You said, oh, he was 2 years old. Yep, that is correct. Sharon Johnson, what up, what up, what up? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. Lanidia Goins, he says, praying for the family and the baby. He says, connecting the dots. Absolutely. Gun safety. You know, why do some people, if they got a firearm, you know, whether legal or illegal, why they leave it around for children to gain access to? You understand? I know some of us been to the range and whatnot, shooting and things of that nature, you know, and they teach you about gun safety. You know what I mean? You gotta treat a firearm very seriously, whether it's loaded or unloaded. At the end of the day, a firearm is nothing to play around with. And I know some people in the church they don't believe you should have a firearm at all. You know, but some still got firearms at the end of the day. You know what I mean? But some people are irresponsible when it comes to the safety measures of having a firearm. You know what I mean? Sister Davis says, how tragic and sad is this? Some of these innocent babies don't have a chance, just exposed to and around monsters. You know, and that was a very irresponsible move of the father, who was a so called pastor and whatnot, to leave a loaded firearm in a vehicle, whereas though a child can gain access to it, you understand, and play around with it. You know what I mean? That's not cool at all. So I absolutely would blame the parent in that situation, which is the father who they charged recently for that, although it happened in October. You know, because anything can happen. The baby could have died. You know what I mean? Shot in the head and still survived. You know, Joe says, greetings, brothers, brother Tony and TOJ family. I'm greeting y'all from South Africa. Shout out to you. What's up to D Carlos? What up, what up, what up? Hope all is well. Sherry says, why do a pastor have a gun anyway, and especially at church? Well, a lot of people don't hold fast to some people's beliefs as far as like not having a firearm. You know, you got a lot of pastors, you got a lot of people in the church. They packing. You understand? They have the little Glock 46s and whatnot. You know, whether it's by the ankle or tucked in the back, where as though nobody can't see, and some women got it in their purse and whatnot. So people could say what they want about firearms, why a pastor got this firearm, and why this church member got that firearm at the end of the day. And people have pros and cons in reference to having a firearm at the end of the day, for sure. You know, but that raises a good question. All right. He says, why didn't they put the safety lock on the gun? I mean, that's a good point. Depending on what type of gun is it, you know. For example, a Glock 17 or a Glock 19. You know, all those Glocks of that manner. They have, you know, a variety of safety blocks on it. For example, the Glock 17 or Glock 19, you know, some people use the safety measures as far as when you put the magazine in it, you don't cock the gun. The only way you could shoot a bullet from those Glocks is if you cock it. You understand? So you could put the magazine with the bullets, whether it's hollow point or a full metal jacket bullets or whatever the case may be. That could be a safety measure. You understand? Because you can't shoot the gun unless you cock it. You know what I mean? The only reason a gun would be loaded with a Glock is if you cock the gun. You understand that? And with other guns too. Another feature on the Glock is with the trigger. When you squeeze it a certain way, it won't shoot. You know what I mean? Some Glocks do have safety locks on it. At the end of the day, depends. Some people get special features on their gun. At the end of the day, but a lot of people are careless when they have a firearm. So you're absolutely right about that, for sure. All right, Mark Elliott, shout out to you. Shout out to you. Hope all is well. Shout out to you to Mark Elliott. Sherry says, but isn't that really trusting God to protect us? He says, is that really trusting God to protect us if we carry a gun? Well, you know what? A lot of people have pros and cons with that. You understand? I'm just gonna say a lot of people have pros and cons because it's like if a person argue or have an issue with having a gun, it's like, okay, what happens if you need the police call? You know, if a person is against firearms, then why call the police? You know, if you have a situation. So some people have, arguments about that type of stuff. You know what I mean? If a person can't if again is against guns, is against a person having a gun, then a person don't need to call the police for something. You understand that? Because the police officers got guns and whatnot. All right. But some people do deem that if a person got a gun or a knife or pepper spray or a taser, are they really trusting God? So you got a good point on that one, for sure. Nicole Martin says, I love how people all around the world be watching the channel. It's so amazing to me. I appreciate that. Definitely appreciate that, for sure. All right. Says, so they never said what kind of gun was it? No. No, they didn't say what kind of gun, excuse me, it was. You know what I mean? All right. Joe says, we do not wrestle against flesh and blood according to the book of scripture. So why is the pastor carrying a gun on him in the first place? You know, as I explained to the other person about that, a lot of people tend to have pros and cons about that. You know what I mean? Some people don't believe people of the church should have a firearm in a sense of protection. You know what I mean? So it's like I said to the other person, if something happens, who they going to call? If they need assistance, if somebody's robbing their house, if somebody broke into their house, who they going to call? If they're against guns, and the police officers got guns, who are they going to call? You know what I mean? So let me know. All right, Sister Davis. We said exactly because the word says, "For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God." For sure. What's up to Ernest Beard? What's up? What's up? What's up? And a lot of people will have arguments about church members and pastors and stuff like that who have firearms and whatnot in general. You know, so what can a person do to protect themselves if one don't believe that one should have a firearm or anything like that? What can people do to protect themselves? Because you got to understand, one could say, for the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, and we wrestle not against what you say. We don't wrestle against blood and flesh, according to the scriptures. But it also mentions it rains on the just and unjust. You understand that? We spoke about it earlier. In a live conversation, not a live conversation, but when I was on at lunchtime, we spoke about a pastor who tried to help somebody out, and that person turned around and killed him. You understand that? That person turned around and killed him. What is a believer supposed to do if somebody tries to harm them at the end of the day? What if a believer becomes a police officer? You understand that? What if a believer wants to become an armed guard or they want to go to the military? You understand? Let me know. I know you're not trying to be over righteous, but we're just having a good conversation and whatnot. What if somebody want to become a police officer? And they carry weapons as part of their career. A correctional officer, stuff like that. and things of that nature, let me know. Or even a fire marshal, in some fields, and being a firefighter, they have to be certified. I believe you have to go through the police academy to become a fire marshal, and you have to take up the same, I believe, some of the same courses as a police officer, and you get a firearm. You know what I mean? So what about situations like that? Let me know. All right. Henry Ross, you said it shows who fear, who's for God and who's not. The anger that sits in a person. That's a good one. What's up to what is that? Sapphire Cherry. Sapphire Cherry. Sister Davis says, trust God. Trust God. Absolutely. Absolutely. A lot of people teach and preach on that, as far as like if they're against people having firearms. Excuse me. What's up to Vincent? What up? What up? What up? Hope all is well. Henry Ross says, and really have to be in a range where you take a child's life. And you're right. Excuse me. You're absolutely right. For sure. You know, Henry Ross. All right. So stories like this happens a lot, as far as like people who are careless with firearms. Nicole Morris says it's a sad world out there. People are just careless. I agree. I agree. You know what I mean? So would you say that he made a mistake, or you say he was being careless? You know what I mean? Because we know that, and I'm not taking up for him at no chance or whatever the case may be. But what would you call it? A mistake or just being careless? You know, at the end of the day. So what I was saying is, we see a lot of people are against people in the church that are against having firearms. You know what I mean? To each his own. Some people are for it. Some people are against it. You know what I mean? Like I said, some people go to church, but their firearm on them. Why they in service? While they in service, they got their firearm on them. Because look at a lot of stuff going on out here. People walking in churches, shooting them up. People robbing people in the church, and all types of things. You know. So, what would you do in that instance for those who are against people for having firearms at the end of the day? You know. All right, Sister Davis. You says getting off will be driving. Okay, you say you will be driving and whatnot. That's fine. Appreciate you for coming back on in a bit. I don't plan on being on this live right here for too long. I just want to bring the story to the public and whatnot. This to see what their thoughts on this is about for sure. Because stuff like this, as I mentioned, it happens a lot. Whereas though people leave their firearm around, whereas though it's in a reach of a child, and the guns be loaded too. At the end of the day, I mean, I know some people out there they got firearms. They ain't holding this. They quiet about it. It's a tough situation. It's a tough thing when something is taught about not having a firearm, but you got one. You know what I'm saying? All right. What's up to Flemings? Shout out to you. If I didn't shout you out, all right. You said you agree. Absolutely. Absolutely. People not just careless with firearms, they kill us with a whole lot of things out here. They kill us with a whole lot. Even drivers. Even when people driving out there. They don't listen, they don't have a care for the world at all. They don't even care for their own lives at all, to those folks out there who are very, very careless at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? So I'd say me, it's a big difference between being careless sometimes and having and making mistakes. All right, Henry Ross. He says my old so-called church carry firearms, and they're working security, and maybe the churchgoers probably carry too. I guess armed security in the churches, and that's what a lot of churches are doing. Hiring armed security or putting certain members through training and whatnot to be on that armed security team. You know, would you go to a church with armed security? How would you feel at a church, that has armed security? You know what I mean? Do you think it make a difference at the end of the day, or do you think them people feel secure at the end of the day because they got armed security or police presence? For sure, somebody made a good point. What if that person puts their trust in the Lord, or what if that person states that just because they got a firearm, that don't mean they don't trust the Lord? Let me know for sure. I believe it was what is it, Sherry? I think who made that comment earlier, and things of that nature for sure. But you'll see a lot of churches out here. They packing. Some got rifles right at the door. You understand that? Some got metal detectors and the little winders to check people and things like that. They do full pat downs and touching certain areas, like you're being arrested, you know. But hey, it's like that in these days because you got some crazy people out here. You can't even go into the supermarket without hearing a story about some nutcase shooting up the place, just random shooting and whatnot. Walmart, Target, regular supermarkets, in general. So it can put fear in people to carry a firearm, to carry pepper spray and mace, and things like that. I'm pretty sure there's other weapons out there that people carry. In general, some people carry BB guns and whatnot, or they'll carry a gun, but it be with like blank bullets or rubber bullets and whatnot. You know what I mean? But people out here is definitely packing for sure. So it doesn't matter. I'm talking about to them. It doesn't matter to them that that some people are against carrying firearms, but at the end of the day, the whole foundation is that the 2 year old is doing well. He's getting better because some people don't survive, especially from being shot in the head. And this is a 2 year old who was shot in the head. You know, I'm pretty sure it was close range at the end of the day for sure. So for the most part, definitely a wonderful thing that the 2 year old survived. Joe, a church with armed security, it's like factory or business place. He said it's like a factory or a business place, a church with security, and a lot of people, man, a lot of people seem to be in fear because they hear situations about such as the Dylan Roof situation where he went into that church and shut up them people. I believe it was in what is it, South Carolina or North Carolina or whatever the case may be, that Dylan Roof walked into like a Bible study service or something like that. You know, had Bible study. I think he ate with them also, and then he killed them. You understand? So we living in crazy times right now. Crazy. You know what I mean? Where folks would just walk into church and just shoot up the place and whatnot. And is a sole reason that a lot of people, a lot of churches are getting security at the end of the day. Or they got metal detectors in the front. As soon as you walk in, they got a metal detector. You know, what's up to G Swole? He says, "What was the pastor doing with a gun?" Somebody asked that earlier. Somebody asked that earlier. Why did this pastor have a gun? Guess what? There's a lot of other preachers out there that got guns. You know what I mean? There's a lot of other people in the church that carry guns with them to church. In the service, you probably would never know. You would never know. The gun is so small, you would never know at all. You understand? All right. You said you said when he should know in the word it says God is against weapons. People put those scriptures up. They put those two scriptures up. We wrestle not against flesh and blood and stuff like that. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. They put that up earlier. So you must have just came on and whatnot and things like that. And I pose the question: what if a person want to become a police officer who's striving for God? You know what I mean? They got to carry a firearm. You know what I'm saying? Because at one point I was in that position. You know what I mean? Not too long ago. You understand? What happens if I want to go back into that field? How would people? What would people think about me? You understand? Or those else who strive for God, who become law enforcement officers that got to carry a firearm and whatnot, and I have to leave my weapon somewhere in my house, locked up and whatnot, and things of that nature. So what happens if a person in holiness wants to become a law enforcement officer? You know, all right. Henry Ross says, PJ says the security in First Church don't carry knowing PJ's life is always threatening. How do the security from First Church do it? I don't know. I don't know, but I get, I would say for the love of Gino, for the love of him. At the end of the day, I remember a service he talked about how people came to the service and they searched them and guns was found on some people. You understand? Because granted that in certain areas, as far as like North Carolina, even if Pennsylvania, it's more easier to get a carry permit and stuff like that, and whatever the case may be. And maybe some people don't know. Some people do know. They just want to see if they could get through. So some people who show up with firearms, it probably don't necessarily mean that they coming to harm anybody, but just for the protection purposes and things like that. That's why some probably have got caught. You know what I mean, with their firearm, thought they could get through and whatnot and things like that. But people do show up with firearms in church and church services. I'm speaking in general. You know what I mean? All right. Fleming says at the TOG service in June, July, they patted me down before entering the service. Listen, I got patted down. You know what I mean? I got patted down. You know, when me and that other YouTuber was there one time last year, we got patted down. That I feel some type of way? Not necessarily. Not necessarily at all. You know what I mean? But hey, it is what it is. Hey, if that's what it takes, then it's all good. It's no issue. It's no problem. At the end of the day, for sure. You know. All right. What's up to Khadijah Reeves? I don't get no special privileges. If person A over there got to get pat down, and person B and person C, I get no special privileges at the end of the day because they will pat me down also. You understand for sure. All right. So it's no I don't think there's no point intended at the end of the day when they pat somebody down, at the church services. Hey, it's all good, you know. G Swole says, God forgive me if I'm adding to the Bible, but do you think God makes an exception for authorities with guns as long as they're using it lawfully? When God's had swords back in the biblical days. Well, I honestly, what I think is, some people when they become law enforcement officers, the gun and badge get to their head. There's some cool cops out there who don't think that way. They really for the community. They're really about protecting and serving and whatnot. And a lot of them who are police officers, they're not always in the front lines. There's other things you can do as a police officer. Work in the academy, work in schools, or work on stuff with recreation, animal control, and other things and stuff like that. But for people out there who let their gun and badge, and some people are very trigger happy. There's some people who worked on the force for 25 years, 30 years. They never had to pull out their firearm at all, or never had the intentions to, and they retired. You understand? They never had the thought of, killing anybody or anything like that. They never had to pull out their gun on anybody. There's some police officers out there like that. There's some that's not. You understand? All right. Comar says he probably had a gun planned for another reason, but not to shoot a 2-year-old in the head. Well, he didn't do it. The pastor didn't do it, but the brother, the other child, did it. So they blaming the pastor for that. You understand? So the brother got access to the father, which is the pastor's gun, and shot the 2-year-old child. So they blaming the father for it. They just convicted, excuse me, rather they charged him with a charge, I believe today, for that. All right. D. Carlos says, Wild Wild West here in Texas, you can open carry. You can carry with no permit. I choose not to carry one. I mean, Texas, I believe North Carolina. What else? Some of them states, you're allowed to do that. You understand? I'm not sure if felonies can do it. I'm not sure about that for sure. But you got to understand. I'm not sure if it's over there too. When you purchase a handgun, or when you purchase a gun or certain guns, they have to do background checks and whatnot and things like that before they can give you the gun when you purchase it. I don't know how it is in Texas, but I do know how it is in the state of Maryland. You understand? When you buy a handgun, of course, your name is attached to the serial number and whatnot, and they have to do a background check before they can issue the gun to you. Now, you can carry the gun with no permit and stuff like that, but I'm not sure if they do that out there in Texas. Whereas though you just can't go into a store and purchase a gun and then walk out and leave. I'm not sure if it's like that in Texas. All right. What's up to Patrick? God bless you too. Georgina Fleming says, Tony, he's saying the pastor is walking with a gun to probably shoot someone else. Well, I don't know. I don't think so. Because if somebody just on a norm, if they're carrying a firearm, if they got all the right licenses and whatnot, all the right permits and things of that nature, but a lot of them can get off course with the safety measures of their firearm and whatnot. Some people get too comfortable, when they got all the right permits and stuff like that, especially here in North Carolina. Some people get careless at the end of the day, for sure. So he's not being charged with having a firearm unlawfully. You understand that? He's being charged with a misdemeanor weapons offense, that happened to the child, as far as like the other son shooting the 2-year-old and whatnot. Now it said that on that media outlet. I don't know if other websites or other media outlets got different takes on that in general, for sure. But it definitely was I definitely would put the blame on that father to allow or to have a firearm in the reach of a child. You know what I mean? And to shoot his 2-year-old brother, which is crazy. All right, Henry Ross. At my last so-called church, they didn't pat down none of us. Very interesting that First Church is doing right. At least is no problem. But my last church didn't pat no one down. Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah. All right. William Shepard says either 18 or 21 to carry in the wicked state of Maryland, which I live. Yeah. I was in Prince George County. You got to have certain reasons to get a concealed carry permit. I think you got to either be like a business owner, you got to be in law enforcement, or you got to be like a security guard or armed carrier and whatnot. It's kind of strict, kind of not too much strict like New Jersey and New York and stuff like that. But people can get permits and things like that. I know DC is a little bit more lenient out there. Virginia is more easier than Maryland. You know what I mean? But a lot of people are arming themselves in general. All right. We're coming to a conclusion with this live. So if you got anything else to say about this situation, feel free to leave it in the chat room. We have a biblical discussion coming in about 3 hours and whatnot. Should be interesting on holidays. I thank everybody for tuning in to this live for sure. You know what I mean? Do remember I do have 2 other YouTube channels, Tony Harvin Network and Tony Harvin TV, where as though we blasting nothing but mainly the Truth of God videos for sure. So tune in if you're like to this biblical discussion that's coming out in about 3 hours. I thank everybody for tuning in once again. I'm Tony Harvin. I'm signing off. May you all have a wonderful and blessed evening.
What's up, YouTube? This is Tony Harvin, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Do remember, if you'd like to subscribe to this channel, hit that subscribe button and also hit the notification bell right here and select all to receive all notifications upon the videos that come out on this channel. Also, my backup channel is Tony Harvin Network if you'd like to do the same.